Flashback. We see Rob wakes up on a train, as we see a few other people sitting next to him on this train. As we see, the man sitting next to him says, "Hey, you alright, man?" Rob says, "Fine, thanks." The guy says, "Well, I'm sorry to bother you, stranger. My name's Arlo. I think we're both going to the same place, so I sense we both have the same level of questions. No offense, man, but you look like you've had your life turned upside down." Rob says, "Are you a fan?" The man laughs and says, "I don't mean to be a pest, but yes, you're Rob Johnson. And if I was in your position, I wouldn't want someone to know who I was by introducing myself, so I figured I'd let you do the introducing. But yes, I'm a big fan, sir. As for whatever you're thinking or whatever you're going through, I hope things have gotten better for you ever since the world decided to change." Rob says, "Well, I'm afraid they've gotten worse." Arlo says, "Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree there. See, the way I look at it, and this is a good lesson for you as well, laws were holding us back. Laws lock you up for crimes you didn't commit. Do you know that 57% of people that are convicted for crimes didn't actually commit those crimes?" I was really into law when the world was still the way it was, so my apologies on that. I've got a lot of answers to a lot of questions, as I'm sure you can tell. And at least that's my opinion on it. And the world the way it is now, it isn't the world we have to worry about. The only thing we got to worry about in the world now is what the world's going to do to us in the end. The world changed, but we don't have to. It's up to us to keep that spirit alive. Wouldn't you agree? I once heard this quote, my brother told me. God bless his soul. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Rob sits there and puts his hand out and says, "Rob Johnson, pleasure to meet you." The man shakes his hand and says, "I'm Arlo Anderson." Currently, we see Rob walking with the group as Elara says, "Guys, come take a look at this." As they stand over the hill to see a massive theme park, as Hunter says, "This is it. This is where we hang up our panties and discuss our war plans. Come on." As they all walk up to the gates, as he says to Elara, "Remember when I used to scavenge? I said I needed some supplies to set up my own place. I went off on all those weird solo missions and shit." Elara says, "Yeah." Hunter says, "Well, this was it. I figured Vel did her own thing. We should also have another place to go in case anything happened. Well, it happened. Now, I was also bored over the years and I wanted to do something with myself, so it took a good few years to put together. But I do like how it turned out." Elara says, "You're a lifesaver, Hunter. You know that?" As they walk in, as we see a bunch of their soldiers walking up to them, as Elara sees them walking up to her, as everyone runs up to her and even hugs her, as they're asking her, "Are you okay? No, we thought you died after the attack. Is everything okay? We're glad you made it." Elara says, "I'm fine, everyone. I'm fine. I was coming back, and I saw what happened. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I left at the time I did, but I had to help our friends. My son was right. They were in danger." They all look pretty forgiving, and Elara says, "I see a lot of others aren't here. Though, I found you here, so I'm holding on to hope that the others are still here too. I'm hoping." Rob stands there next to her and says, "We better get our forces together. This man we're up against, I've known him most of my life. And I can tell that this is not going to stop until we're all dead. The man hasn't stopped looking for me for decades, so I doubt this would be any different. And Vel is still in there. Yeah, she survived. We know she's alive, he's holding her hostage, and we're going to get her back. I'm sorry to tell you folks, this place isn't going to stay hidden for long, alright? We're not that out of range to where they're going to find us pretty soon." and they're looking for us. So this is only temporary, this place. And we will stand our ground, and we will fight for what we believe in. Everybody that's here is gonna fight. Now, I understand that this is something you probably want done, and so do I. But this woman, he looks at Elara and says, this woman has led you out of trouble before, and she will lead you out of trouble now. Fighting is the only answer, and right now, well, there's people we're gonna fight for. As the group all look like they agree. Back in Wyoming, we see Athena is getting patched up in the infirmary as she says, "Thank you, Doc." She walks out and she sees Ragnar sitting outside the waiting room as she says, "Dad, what are you doing here?" Ragnar says, "I came here to check on you. I was worried about you." Athena says, "You were worried? What the hell have you been worried about? The only thing you're worrying about is your power." Ragnar says, "Hey, come on now, you know that's not true." Athena says, "Oh, it isn't? Then how come Rob hasn't been killed? Huh? I had to risk my life. I had to get hurt. Look at this shit. And I almost died because you failed to deliver your promise to me that when you find him, you would kill him. Is that not what you said to me? You said that to me when I was little. And after what he did to my father, you would keep him alive? For what?" Ragnar says, "Listen, sweet pea. Rob is way more valuable to us alive and working for me. And he always has been." Athena says, "So what? There's no justice brought?" Ragnar says, "There still will be justice brought, but we were doing it in a way that was making him miserable. This will break him. You just have to trust me on this." Athena says, "And what about the girl? Hazer?" Ragnar says, "Well, she killed our people. I'm gonna kill her when I'm ready. But right now, she's helping me with another plan. We have to lure Rob back here in order for this whole thing to work. The only way we're gonna do that is if we have him on his own. Once I get him back here, I'll kill Vel, and she will have no use to me by then. Do you remember what I promised you?" As Athena stands there looking angry. Back in the theme park, we see Mara sitting in a room as she hears a knock at the door. As Ryder walks in and says, "Hey, your shoulder any better?" Mara says, "Yeah. Hunter patched it up earlier." "Huh. So this is what he was doing the entire time?" Ryder says, "I suppose so. He always loved his weird exotic places, that one. Though he really came through this time, I will say. I was starting to lose hope out there." Mara says, "Yeah, me too." "Hey, can I ask you something?" Ryder says, "Yeah." Mara says, "Do you think it's a boy or a girl?" Ryder chuckles and says, I don't know. I haven't given it a lot of thought, honestly." He looks at her, and he cracks a small smile and says, "What do you think it is?" Mara says, "Well, I was thinking. If it were a boy, we call it Dave Jr. And if it were a girl, we call it Carmelina, after my old cat I lost." Ryder says, "Well, I'm good with both." Mara says, "Oh, come on. I know what you were thinking." Ryder says, No, I don't want to go down that road again. I had a bad enough upbringing as it is. I don't want to do that again." Mara says, "I know you miss him, but you have a mom who loves you very much, and you have a family now. A real one." Ryder looks at her and says, "I do." As he kisses her and makes it official, as Ryder says, "To a better life." As they make love to each other, as Ryder starts his new family. As we see Rob in the other room with no family and looking depressed. As he sits there, as Tugo says, "Hey, mind if I come in? Mind if I crash here tonight? All the other rooms are taken. And Mara and Ryder over there, it's really loud over there, so you mind if I share the other side of the room?" Rob says, "Sure, knock yourself out." Tugo says, "Huh. Feels like the calm before the storm, doesn't it?" Rob says, Yeah, it does." Tugo says, "Hey, man, what is it?" Rob says, "It's nothing." Tugo says, "Hey, Rockstar, listen, you can tell me anything. There's nothing you can say that I can't handle, alright?" Rob looks sad and says, "It's just, now that we're all out, now that we're out here, this fight is becoming a reality. I spent so much time in Wyoming ignoring what happened, thinking about just keeping my eye on the ball, thinking what I was going to do to Ragnar, thinking about how I was going to escape, and now that I've escaped, and now that I'm out, it's all catching up to me. That night, at the skate park, when she was ripped out of my arms, the blood and the screams, and her calling for me, crying for my help, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything but sit there, watch her knowing she was going to die. And all those feelings are coming back now that I'm out here." Tugo says, "Hey, Mr. Johnson, your daughter was proud of you. And you were so lucky to have someone like her. And I'm a big believer that she's still watching us right now. And she believes in you. And she believes in you to do the right thing when the time comes. And I know you're going to do the right thing." Rob says, "I'll die if it means he does. And if he dies, there's no other way. I thought about all the different ways this could go down, but there's no happy ending here. It's not going to end without one of us dying, if not both of us. And I just hope one of them is him. I can't change what happened, as a friend once told me. I can change the way I look at things, and the things I'll look at will change.